After practicing lots of pre-loop exercises, over time I finally got comfortable with my gear and the conditions to try real loops on the plane. The very first ones were quite ugly. I would do a small pop, land, and then catapult. My neck, back, pretty much my whole body was so sore after these first sessions, I could hardly move. Then for the first time I felt the sail pulling and rotating me around a little bit while still in the air. This made me so happy as I knew I was on the way to learning to loop. You may notice that on most of these attempts, there are people coming in towards me or near me. Having someone close by give me the boost of confidence needed to stay with it. On the way out, I often let go of the sail with my backhand. While on the way back, it was easier for me to hold on. Letting go of the backhand has a cost though. Numerous times the mast hit the nose of the board and required repair. With confidence building, little by little, I was increasing my speed and commitment. Sometimes I would even try off a smaller wave. Although not necessarily successful, the first few attempts of the day are often the most committed. So make sure your camera is securely mounted. Here I'm holding back, not heading downwind enough, and all the pressure has nowhere to go. Here it's perfect, I just need to keep the sail ahead of me and stay tucked. Commitment with each attempt becomes greater, rotation faster. Now some of these attempts, oh man, they just deserve to be played in slow motion. So here I'm leaning way back, kicking the board sideways and then sending my body forward. The sail pulls me up, being far back, and just catapult with the mast landing on the other side of the board. Let's check port tack then. Ooh, didn't know you could sit on the board while still on the front strap. Off of bigger waves, something is holding me back to really go for it. Sometimes I just freeze and get frustrated. My best attempt so far, but I freak out and let go of the board, getting even more airtime on my weak side. A friend of mine suggested that I raise my rear elbow to get the sail in better position. It worked instantly and made the rotation more horizontal and not as scary. The last attempts of this first month were a mix of high-speed catapults, hesitation, and near landings. Month 2 started off with some nice attempts, at full speed on good-sized waves, rear elbow up, looking promising. I remember this one, I thought I'd lost my leg. Nice wave selection, good commitment, but you can tell I'm a little shy about landing with the board. Oh, freezing, but laughing about it, so that's good. Oh, and that's not so good. Mast directly onto the board's nose. Despite all this, I kept with it, trying to focus on one thing per session. Sometimes it's extending the front arm, another time it will be sheeting it really hard, which I did a little bit too early in this one. And I was getting pretty consistent at doing these what I would call half loops. So the last attempts of the month were a mix of frustration, hardcore catapults, and half loops. While a little bit awkward at the beginning, I thought learning front flips would help me complete the loop. Well, surely there must be a parallel between a front flip and a front loop. After a few not so bad looking attempts, it was time to see if it would help the rotation on the water with my gear. Well, the thought was nice, but I'm not really sure it helped much. In between some frustrated attempts, I was able to get some encouraging ones, commit a little bit more, especially at the beginning of the sessions. Knowing what I know now, most of the frustration came from the fact that I was sheeting in a little too early. Better wait until the front arm is fully extended before sheeting in. At a minimum, you want to keep your front end on the boom to try and keep the mast away from you when hitting the water. Even though it wasn't easy, I tried to let go of the frustration and just laugh about it. At this stage, I decided to focus only on starboard tack to devote all of my energy into the move. And for the first time upon landing, I was trying to swim with my gear to get into a water start position. From there on, my attempts were more energetic and more committed. I was doing all I could to try and get the sail out of the water. I knew I was so close, and if I could only water start once, then I could claim one. Only to be reminded sometimes to wait until the front arm is extended before sheeting in. Then I thought, I'll just try to water start without straps. And then it finally came, my very first water start out of the straps from a front loop. Well, friends, it felt good. I was so pumped and thought for sure with a couple more sessions I could water start out of one. But then the wind died. After a break of about a couple of months, I finally was able to get back into them. The only thing is, my attempts didn't look like much at all. Month 4 was really challenging emotionally. With a head full of doubts and frustration, I just couldn't comprehend why, from landing in a water start position, my attempts looked like I hadn't even tried them before. My speed and pop were lacking, and it felt like I was hesitating even more now. And if the emotional suffering wasn't enough, I was back to doing nearly daily repairs to my board. And speaking of board, eventually I migrated to a slightly bigger board to get more pop and more speed. And I broke that one too. With little progress and building frustration, I knew it was time for me to change something to make it easier on me. And so for month 5, I tried bearing off the wind, steering the board more downwind before takeoff. In doing so, my gear moved to the side, letting me rotate into the move more safely. This helped my confidence back up, gradually increasing speed and pop. Heading downwind makes the sail scissor with the board. Without scissoring, we need more height. Then I started to debate whether I was heading downwind enough. These attempts may look silly, but I was getting enough rotation to pull the sail out and water start on the same tack. This was a really frustrating and challenging time for me, knowing where I was on month 3 and now barely able to throw one at speed. Luckily, the conditions remained windy and friendly for learning to loop. Multiplying the attempts with the safety of heading downwind, I was able to try him at speed with good power. Then, I put on my Zidane jersey during the World Cup and things got serious. I was able to water start away after leaving the straps. And this gave me the boost of... Never mind. Something was still missing. I had to remember to bear off the wind. Definitely do not pinch into the wind. Now knowing that I was really close, I was giving it all I had with each session, each attempt. I was also enjoying trying M again, which plays a big part in reducing fear and increasing commitment. Now hesitation was still very present, especially running out of wind or if the water state was a little difficult to read. I swear I thought sometimes the spot didn't want me to learn the loop, but I kept at it, calmed down when I needed to, focused my energy, and by month 6, I was able to water start away off the straps out of most of my attempts. I even started trying M again on port tack. With more confidence, I was throwing the sail forward harder and harder, and then halfway through the month, I started popping with my body more vertical. With my weight more centered between the straps, hesitation nearly vanished. I started to focus more on sheeting in hard. Sometimes I would try to water start in the straps. Other times I would be afraid of landing with the board. Still a few times I was leaving the straps and water starting right away. Well, at this stage, I really thought I would land it just any day, any time, and I would try to swim and water start away from one. I was coming in with lots of speed, good wind, but the rotation seemed hindered by something. And here we are, month 7. By now, my pop and sail through are really aggressive and committed. Bails only happen rarely, and on pretty much all of my attempts, I try to keep the sail up to water start away. Come on, sail, come on, catch the wind, catch the wind! So now with great speed, good pop, nice sail through and commitment, with strong wind in the forecast, as I was about to discover the last secret of the forward loop, my camera broke. Well, luckily my wife was willing to come to the beach to film some of my attempts. Could being filmed lead me to land one? Well, these first ones don't look too bad, maybe a bit underpowered. Good speed, reaching far back with the backhand. Water starting. Nope, not quite. Okay, let's check port tack. Okay, basically the boom is just sticking to the water. I gotta raise that boom high. Back on the starboard. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! No! These are so close, so close. And this is it. I can water start, but I need to let go of the board. Oh, my best attempt yet. Good speed. No, I need to let go of the board again. Well, curiously enough, the next day I landed my first one. Getting film probably gave me that extra push I needed. I concentrated on bringing my legs under me, which facilitated the rotation. And finally, looking to increase consistency in my landings, I held on sheeting in until my front arm was fully extended. This slight delay really boosted my confidence, especially on the bigger sails when pretty powered up. Voila, the end of my loop quest. Oh well, at least the starboard one. This was by far the most challenging, frustrating, and painful experience. Yet, it was eye-opening, rewarding, and astonishing. I feel like it made me a better, more appreciative person, leading me to make a definite analogy with life in general. Now it's your turn.